Good evening, everyone. Welcome to NTD Tonight. I'm David Lamb, sitting in for David Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's top stories. Heavy rain breaks records in California. The latest on major damages, death toll, and forecast. President Biden urging Congress to pass the Senate border security bill, while the House votes on Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas' impeachment resolution. 2 states have issued health alerts following reports of infections. Officials say current risk is low, but investigations are ongoing. First, a weather update. Rainfall in Southern California has already broken records since the atmospheric river barreled into the region, causing major damages and flooding. NTD's Christina Corona gives us a weather update from Los Angeles.
This is one of the wettest storms in Southern California history that unfortunately led to home evacuations, hundreds of mudslides, and the rescue of several individuals from rivers swollen by floods. Crews have responded to over 300 mudslides, in addition to more than 100 reports of flooding and rescues of motorists stranded in vehicles on overflown roadways. 5 buildings have been deemed unlivable since the atmospheric river arrived on Sunday.
An atmospheric river is a long tube of moisture in the atmosphere. It's vapor. It's water, gas, not liquid. It's situated maybe 3-ish miles above the ground. They are very long, from roughly east to west, extending from the California coast all the way back into the tropics. So it's a sort of a transport system of water vapor coming from the tropics up to our coast.
Atmospheric rivers are fairly common.
What we need is for a storm to develop in the right place at the right time, to soak up that moisture, to tap into it, and rain out on top of us.
The storm had a major impact on the Inland Empire, where 10 people and 17 dogs were rescued. Rescuers with the Riverside Fire Department pulled 4 adults and a dog out of fast-moving waters in the Santa Ana River. Authorities reported that in Los Angeles County alone, 16 people and 5 cats were rescued. At least 3 people have died from falling trees in Northern California, and over 16 million people faced a high risk of heavy rain. Downtown Los Angeles had already received a record-breaking amount of rain, with more than half of its seasonal rainfall in just 2 days. For some parts of the region, rain totals since the storm hit and into Tuesday morning neared 11 inches. These storms, commonly referred to as a Pineapple Express due to their origin in Hawaii, are atmospheric rivers that frequently impact the west coast of the U.S. and Canada.
We can go through years of not having many atmospheric rivers in California, but they still are impacted in Oregon and Washington and British Columbia by them.
There's a chance of light showers on Wednesday, followed by sunny skies Thursday onwards, extending into next week. Christina Corona, NTD News, Los Angeles.
Now let's take a look at other top headlines. President Joe Biden today urged Congress to pass the Senate border security bill ahead of Wednesday's vote. In remarks from the White House, Biden had this to say about the $120 billion bill.
The result of all this hard work is a bipartisan agreement that represents the most fair, humane reforms in our immigration system in a long time, and the toughest set of reforms to secure the border ever.
Biden said that Republicans in Congress are caving to Donald Trump, putting the potential failure of the bill on the shoulders of GOP lawmakers, and he vowed that he would take the issue across the country.
This bill would also give me, as president, the emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border when it becomes overwhelmed.
Meanwhile, the GOP-led House failed to pass a resolution to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. The House Homeland Security Committee filed its impeachment resolution last week. They accused Mayorkas of high crimes and misdemeanors in his handling of the southern border. 2 congressmen, Representatives Tom McClintock and Ken Buck, have argued that an impeachable offense has not been identified. Former President Trump and Nikki Haley are facing off again for the Republican presidential nomination in Nevada this week. There are two separate contests. The first contest is a state-run primary today. Haley chose to be on that ballot, even though she won't get any delegates from winning. The second vote is a caucus this Thursday on February 8th, organized by the Nevada Republican Party. Only Trump will appear on that ticket. A state law mandates that a primary must be held, but the Nevada GOP voted to stick with a caucus. This conflict resulted in two competing ballots. Trump has almost clinched the nomination after victories in Iowa and New Hampshire. Haley has vowed to stay in the race. Speaking of the GOP frontrunner, a federal appeals panel ruled today that Donald Trump has no immunity from prosecution. The appeals court's decision held that former President Trump can be prosecuted for actions undertaken while in the White House and in the run-up to January 6, 2021. The trial for the 2020 election case was originally set for March, but it was postponed last week, and the judge didn't immediately set a new date. The trial date carries enormous political ramifications if it is delayed till after the November election, and if Trump defeats President Joe Biden, he could presumably try to use his position as head of the executive branch to order a new attorney general to dismiss the federal cases, or he potentially could seek a pardon for himself. Last month, the Supreme Court said it was at least temporarily staying out of it, rejecting a request from special counsel Jack Smith to take up the matter quickly and issue a speedy ruling. The legally untested question was whether former presidents can be prosecuted after they leave office for actions taken in the White House related to their official duties. The Supreme Court has said that presidents are immune from civil liability for official acts, and Trump's lawyers have for months argued that that protection should be extended to criminal prosecution as well. Today's ruling could set the stage for the case to reach the Supreme Court. A jury reaches a verdict in a manslaughter trial today of a school shooter's mother, Jennifer Crumbley. Her sentencing is scheduled for April 9th. Crumbley's teenage son killed 4 people at Oxford High School in Michigan in 2021. This is a novel legal case that tests the limits of who is responsible for a shooting committed by a minor. Crumbley, 45, has pleaded not guilty to 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter for her role in the November 30th, 2021 shooting that killed 4 students and wounded 6 students and a teacher. The prosecution argued Jennifer Crumbley is responsible for the deaths because she was grossly negligent in giving a gun to her son, Ethan, who was 15 at the time, and failing to get him proper mental health treatment despite warning signs. However, the defense argued the blame lay elsewhere, on her husband for improperly securing the firearm, on the school for failing to notify her about her son's behavioral issues, and on Ethan himself, who planned and carried out the attack on his own. Crumbley faces up to 15 years in prison if convicted. Crumbley's husband, James, is scheduled to go on trial on the same charges in early March. 2 states issued health alerts after reports of infections during January. Measles was reported at an Ohio airport, while a deadly fungus case was reported in Washington state.
The Ohio Department of Health issued a health alert on Monday. Travelers at the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Airport were possibly exposed to measles on the evenings of January 27th and January 29th. The exposure is related to a child who was infected with measles. The health department is working with the CDC and other officials to identify who might have been exposed. Health officials say those who are vaccinated for measles have a low risk of getting sick. Over on the West Coast, Washington state is reporting cases of a deadly fungus. In January, the health department notified Seattle and King County of a patient who was admitted to a hospital for C. auris. This fungus can cause serious infections and can be resistant to treatment medications. The infection was discovered through a screening program that detects cases early on. People with no symptoms can still spread it to other patients. There are a total of 4 cases of people who tested positive for the infection. In a statement, a health official said most healthy people do not need to worry about the infection. The risk is mainly for patients that have long stays at hospitals and need medical interventions like breathing tubes, feeding tubes, or urinary catheters. Health officials say it can be hard to identify the initial source of the infection since many organisms are multi-drug resistant, but the investigation is ongoing.
A bill that would tax pet owners in Colorado has been postponed indefinitely. According to the bill's author, it received a major wave of backlash after being introduced last week. NTD's Jason Blair brings us more.
Colorado's HB 241163 bill includes all pets, small or large. Each one would need to be registered with the government. Failing to register a pet would carry penalties up to $100 per pet. Each pet with a designated caregiver would be taxed $8.50 a year. Without a designated caregiver would be $25. It would apply to each individual pet, so if someone, for example, had numerous aquarium fish or an ant farm, it would apply to each one. Dogs and cats with a listed caregiver but aren't neutered would be $16 a year. Representative Regina English introduced the bill. She told Denver 7, quote, "The idea behind it was to create a pet contingency plan for mainly senior people when they're in crisis or something happens. And they would have that person that would have guardianship over their pet if something happened, because we all know that our pet shelters are over capacity." Critics argued that it would create unnecessary government oversight and another tax burden. Colorado Representative Ty Winter posted on X, quote, "The ruling class in Colorado have found a new way to dig into your pockets. HB 241163 requires all pets to be annually taxed and registered with the state." Following major backlash, English decided on Sunday to postpone the bill indefinitely. She told Denver 7, quote, "I never would intentionally want a piece of legislation that's going to overburden, overtax, and put the people of Colorado in financial distress. Quite frankly, it just put the people of Colorado in an uproar." She said she originally wanted to amend the bill, but after discussions with colleagues, she decided to focus on other policies she plans on sponsoring this year. Jason Blair, NTD News.
We'll take a short break now, everybody, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. A $20 million lottery ticket sold in Southern California. Could you be the lucky winner? Stay tuned for more on the numbers. A baby penguin chick joins the animal kingdom. This chick is the first of its kind hatched on the U.S. West Coast. The oldest living American celebrates her birthday. Cheers and festivities filled her California hometown despite the wet weather. Those stories and more coming up on NTD Tonight. Welcome back to NTD Tonight. I'm your host, David Lamb. Are you holding the $20 million Super Lotto Plus ticket? One lucky ticket was sold at a Southern California convenience store over the weekend. NTD's Christina Corona has more from Los Angeles.
The single winning ticket with all 6 numbers in Saturday's drawing was sold here in Los Angeles at Y&Y Market on West 39th Street. The winning numbers in the drawing were 2, 12, 18, 20, 44, and 4. 3 additional tickets sold in Southern California ranked in substantial winnings by correctly matching the initial 5 numbers. These 3 tickets were purchased at 7-Eleven on North Placentia Avenue in Fullerton, a mobile gas station on Santa Monica Boulevard in Los Angeles, and a 76 gas station on Victory Boulevard in Woodland Hills. The odds of winning with a ticket from the California Super Lotto Plus lottery is 1 in 42 million. So make sure to check your Super Lotto Plus lottery ticket. All winners have 180 days from the drawing date to claim their prize. Christina Corona, NTD News, Los Angeles.
The Shamrock Shake, a St. Patrick's Day seasonal treat at McDonald's, is back a few weeks early this year.
Its companion, the Oreo Shamrock McFlurry, is also back. Last year, the specialty drinks were released on February 20th, but this year, they're available starting Monday at participating locations. McDonald's describes the shake as creamy vanilla soft serve ice cream blended with mint syrup and topped with whipped topping. McDonald's has not announced an end date.
New in the animal kingdom, a Southern California zoo welcomed a baby blue penguin. It's the first in the West to be born.
For the first time, the Birch Aquarium in San Diego, California, has welcomed a little blue penguin chick to its Penguin Care and Conservation Center family. The newest penguin colony member debuted on New Year's Day and is part of a diverse group of penguins from 5 different zoos and aquariums. According to the Birch Aquarium, this chick was also the first little blue penguin to hatch on the U.S. West Coast. The aquarium's penguin care team is currently caring for the new chick. It is still adapting to its new home and will mostly remain behind the scenes for now. The chick's gender will be announced soon.
The entertainment industry mourns the loss of another star. Country music icon Toby Keith passes away at 62 after a battle with cancer. NTD's Stephanie Sakal has a story.
Country music legend Toby Keith, aged 62, has passed away after a courageous battle with stomach cancer. Surrounded by loved ones, he peacefully departed on February 5th as announced on his official website and social media. Despite his diagnosis in June 2022, Keith remained optimistic, expressing gratitude for treatment progress in December 2023. Throughout his career spanning 3 decades and 19 albums, he delivered chart-topping hits like Should've Been a Cowboy and Beer for My Horses. In 2020, he received the National Medal of Arts recognizing his achievements as a musician and humanitarian. Keith's legacy in country music lives on, survived by his wife Trisha and 3 children. Stephanie Sakal, NTD News.
The sports world is also mourning. NFL linebacker turned Hollywood icon Carl Weathers also passed away. We turn to Carlos Reyes, who has more details on this recent development.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's with heavy hearts that we report the passing of a true legend in the world of sports and entertainment. Carl Weathers, the former NFL linebacker turned Hollywood star, known for his iconic role as Apollo Creed in the Rocky series, and his diverse career spanning action, comedy, and drama, has left us at the age of 76. Weathers' manager Matt Luber confirmed the news, stating that the actor passed away peacefully in his sleep, leaving behind a legacy that transcends generations. From his triumphant portrayal of Apollo Creed, the undisputed heavyweight champion, to his memorable roles in Predator alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger, and his comedic turn as a golf pro in Happy Gilmore, Weathers showcased a range of talents that captivated audiences worldwide. Sylvester Stallone, who shared a profound bond with Weathers on and off screen, expressed his grief in an emotional Instagram video. Stallone credited Weathers for being an integral part of his success, acknowledging the brilliance of Weathers' voice, size, power, athletic ability, heart, and soul. The 2 actors forever etched their names in cinematic history through the Rocky series, with Stallone urging the spirit of Apollo Creed to keep punching. In recent years, Weathers graced our screens in the Disney Plus hit series The Mandalorian, earning an Emmy nomination in 2021. However, his journey to stardom began on the football field, playing 8 games for the Raiders before venturing into acting. Weathers' passion for both sports and the arts shone through as he juggled football, drama studies at San Diego State, and later the Canadian Football League. Apollo Creed's unforgettable demise in Rocky IV marked a pivotal moment in Weathers' career, but his legacy lived on through Michael B. Jordan's portrayal of Creed's son in a new boxing trilogy. Weathers continued to make his mark in films like Predator and Action Jackson, earning praise from co-star Arnold Schwarzenegger, who hailed him as an extraordinary athlete, fantastic actor, and great person. Weathers' versatility extended to comedy, where he added a touch of humor to Happy Gilmore alongside Adam Sandler. Sandler, in a social media post, referred to Weathers as a true legend. A man of inspiration, Weathers acknowledged those who came before him, including actors and athletes who broke barriers. In a 2023 interview, he reflected on being fortunate and expressed a hope to inspire others through his work. Carlos Reyes, NTD News.
The oldest living American celebrates her 116th birthday amid cheers and festivities in California. NTD's Stephanie Sakal tells us more.
Edith, also known as Eddie Ricogno Keenan Ciccarelli, is America's oldest living person and second oldest in the world. She celebrated her 116th birthday on February 5th. Despite adverse weather, festivities persisted in her hometown of Willits, California. Led by officials, a parade celebrated the occasion, showcasing community support. Ceccarelli's birthday has become an annual tradition in Willits, a town in Mendocino County. Born in 1908 when Theodore Roosevelt was president. She's the second oldest person globally, with Maria Brañas of Spain recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the oldest. Stephanie Sikal, NTD News.
Stay tuned for China in Focus with Tiffany Meyer coming up next. And in more China news, thousands of illegal marijuana farms across the United States operated by Chinese nationals with potential ties to Beijing. Where are these operations at? More details coming tonight at 9:30 on NTD's China in Focus with Tiffany Meyer. That's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like you to join us again on NTD Tonight every weekday at 9 p.m. I'm David Lam, sitting in for David Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.